So let me sew two topics together here. You have built your career since leaving the Kelley School with a number of posts. I mean, some in the US with General Electric, and then ultimately several international steps along the way. Can you tell us about your career journey? And a thing I'd like for you to pair with that is
Yeah.
tell us what you've learned about developing talent and developing your team along the way as you've been operating out of different countries, different kinds of companies. So tell us about your journey in your post and what you've learned in developing your teams.
Yeah. So I joined GE. I was with GE, five different divisions, span over 19 years. And then the last 5 years was with two different distribution companies, or am still with one of the two distribution companies. When I left Kelley School of Business, I was very lucky to be with General Electric's their leadership program. At the time, it's called Information Management. Right now, I believe it's called Digital Technology Leadership Program. So things has evolved since IM to DT. I think that's the way of how we're thinking about a different technology involvement. So for myself specifically, is that uh, what G has prepped me specifically is really much of a Kelly also prepping me as well. Is many different ways. Think about business first. Technology are enablers to help the business to either streamline, operate, or grow. So the core Kelley School of Business is always teach about how do you think about the context end to end, and I think that's really I think the aspects of Kelley. Of course, when you go into the first 10 years of a career, you're still very specialize in certain fields, you would not. I was not able to see everything end to end. But what GE has really fortunate helping me to do, also contributing career opportunity for me to contribute to create many different type of affinity groups. So I was able to involve with affinity groups and get to know many different leaders, asking questions, and then actually get opportunities not only within IT but also in marketing and sales. So I was able to jump from those into in a complete different industry to do so. What GE really, I would say, spend a lot of the time developing its talent is because it has a long history of developing and sustaining the pipeline. It's always three things: how do you recruit, how do you develop, and how do you retain? It's always the three. There's no other things than all managers thinking about the three things all the time. And what we also learn is that you need to really think about your careers in every single role you do. The first year is you need to meet your expectation or exceed. The second year is you need to retain that performance. And the third year, you need to innovate from what you have done in the second year and the first year. So every year you think about that philosophy, it's how do you beat your performance year after year is what really GE actually retain. When I move on from GE to others area, I take the essence with me because many different things. G was the front runner in many different business models, regardless it worked or did not work. After 10 years later,
10 years later,
the
right?
yeah, the business model are still very innovative at that time. So I went to distribution companies, it's not so much about trying out new business models or trying new way of deploying technology. It's all about what is our accountability and what is our say-do ratio to make things happen. Because if thing doesn't happen, you don't do it, or we don't make the things reality into the technology-enabled business models. You never know it's going to work or not work. You can only just plan all day. So I think that's what one really great thing about when the career prepare you to the next one. When I moved to Ingram Micro, which is one of the largest technology and software and cloud distribution company, it's so interesting to see that they don't produce much of the products, but they were able to do a lot of consolidation of technology and sell it as a service and as a product. It's the first time I actually experienced no products, but selling services and a bunch of a solution to other people. You grab them together and make it valuable. And it's also the first time I have to experience is how do I actually introduce more with the business to actually have the model not only for B2B, but B2B to C. So that was really interesting to see Ingram Micro is able to jump through. And right now, Ingram Micro has gone through so much a new business model now, which is called platform business, which is also another level for distribution industry. So when I moved into Brenntag, so think about GEs and then Ingram Micro, and Brenntag is one of the way has so much history. 150 years we'll be celebrating this October. So much history, so much pride within the companies that what we can retain is the process of the industry is hard to get. So how do you leverage the strengths of the business combining with the technology you want to introduce so the company can sustain the next 100 years to come? Is something that you just you never think about the challenge is something cannot be solved. So, and I think that's one of the things that one career is changing you to another, prepare you thinking about that. When you think about talent to answer your questions, how does each one help me to think about talents? Is that everyone wants to do better. Everyone wants to learn. Everyone wants to actually get there. Sometimes some people will make it. Sometimes some people will not make it. But for the one that who wants to make it, you really need to create the path of how do you upskill and upgrade the whole, not only the infrastructure, but also the trainings and the mindset. So when we actually came in, we actually do agile way of working. And next 12 months, actually 6 months, we also will be branding a Brenntag way of working because this is how we work. We know exactly problem statement we're trying to solve and how we're going to do it for our customer and supplier with the tools and process and mindset we have.
Yeah, it sounds like you're really working on creating that empowering culture that causes top talent to want to stay with you so they can develop their career as they go along. We talk sometimes about the technology asset, the data and the boxes, wires, the systems, cloud services. But a lot of attention of a leader like you has to go on developing the human asset, having the people that can deliver and are capable when the executives say, okay,
Yeah.
Michelle, here's a big bundle of capital for you to
Mm-hmm.
spend to go cause this thing to happen. You've got to have the talent pool to do that.